Many people can't wait to get out of the high school so that they can start their life and get the job that they always wanted. Well, we are going to see the people who have come back as teachers to the school that they have graduated from.
I was at school here between 1967 and 1971, and things were a lot more formal. And I didn't, in the whole 4 years that I was here, I never saw people draped over the furniture. Their clothing just kind of told them not to do that in one sense. Never saw anybody with a head down on a desk. Never saw anybody asleep. Not to say that my group was perfect, because I do think my group is the one that got the bathrooms closed in the classauditorium area, because my group had a lot of smokers in it.
There were about 800 plus students here, so the hallways were a lot fuller than what they are today. There were a few more varieties of classes that we had, but we still have a pretty good set of options. So it was fun.
It's pretty similar to what it was now. I took chemistry in the same room that I'm teaching in. I can actually remember what seat I was in. But I think that I feel we tried a lot harder than I think kids do now. We competed against each other. We wanted to have the best grades, and I don't necessarily see that all the time anymore. So,
there were more students in school when I was here, and so we had 2 lunches, even though you weren't committed to staying here for lunch. Even the freshmen did not have to stay here for lunch, but enough people did that they ran 2 lunch schedules.
Lunch was definitely shorter. It was open campus for everybody, and you had to go pretty quick if you were going to get somewhere and get back. A lot of freshmen did walk to lunch. Some stayed in the cafeteria, don't get me wrong. Some did go to the cafeteria, but nobody really hung out in the hallways in the auditorium like they do now. People either went to cafeteria or went out.
Well, lunch is actually not really much different than it was back then. The only thing that I remember that's actually different is they used to have a taco casserole, which was my favorite thing in the world to eat, but it's not there anymore. They also had taco tub, which were 2 of my favorite things. Don't have them anymore.
I remember I always went out on Fridays with my friends to eat lunch, and we would always go to Pizza Hut because they had a $2 deal where you could get a personal pan pizza and a drink for only $2. And then we would sometimes walk back to the Trading Post, and we would get candy, bring it to class then after lunch, and that was it. It would seem to be a little bit longer too, because we had time to walk to Pizza Hut and back.
the year before I came in as a freshman was when they started closed campus, so I missed not having to have closed campus by one year.
When I was a senior, I played for the choir. I was their accompanist, and also just spent a lot of time outside of class reading French novels and French comic books that my teacher would give me, because I just wanted to be able to do that really well. I wanted to go to Paris and live in France.
FFA, I was involved in that. Played. We had TNI club, and then we just basic went to all the sporting events, and just had fun. We had powwow, of course, homecoming and prom. So things haven't they haven't changed tremendously, but it seems like we were pretty active.
I played volleyball, basketball, and softball in high school, so I was a sport or an athlete all year round. I was also in band. I played trumpet, and my junior and senior year of high school, I was in the color guard, so I did the flags for football season.
Yeah, I played football, played basketball, ran track. I was the president of the history club. I was in Boys O Club. And so those were, I was in a lot of athletics and stuff like that. I took up most of my time. So
I was in everything. I cheered, and I was in Girls O Club. I was in Pep Club. I was in Spanish Club, Science Club, History Club, Speech Club, History. Did I say history? Science? Yeah. And I was president of 3 of those at the same time.
Coming back was a little odd, because now I'm the person in charge, and before I was the person responsible for following orders. A lot of the building looks the same. In the library, the wooden tables and wooden chairs are the very same, so it felt like time had not passed.
I like teaching at my old school. Things are completely different. Rooms have changed, and of course, a lot of teachers have retired, but I like teaching at ERHS.
It was neat to work with some of the teachers that I had as teachers, to see them in a different way, and basically see the whole structure of the school in a completely different way.
I love it. It was a little different though, getting used to the 4-block schedule, because I obviously was not used to that at all. Whenever I left, it was still several classes a day. But I don't know. I really like it.
When I came back, it felt like, for the most part, it's walking right back into the way things were, I guess. So
I probably would have been involved with more clubs and more activities, and I would have taken a little more variety in my classes. I did a lot of the academic classes, but I really wish that I would have done more of, say, an accounting class or more of a foods class. Just had a little more variety in my schedule to see a few more things.
I would tell myself to be a little more open. I'm a shy person, or I was shy in high school, and so to try to cultivate more friendships with other people.
I would say be more involved in school from the very beginning. By the time I was a senior, I'd kind of become involved in a lot of things, but if I were going to talk to the young Benny Atkins, I would say get involved earlier as a freshman.
Check into scholarships, because I don't think that I was really aware of all the scholarships that were available. I got some scholarships, but I think if I knew now, or knew then what I know now, I would be checking that scholarship page every day. And trust me, I'm going to have my kids do the same thing when they get to high school, because I tell you what, college is not cheap. It took me over 8 years to get it paid off after I graduated.
It's not that bad. Whatever you're dealing with right now, unless it is something very dramatic that is going to affect your life, that the little things, they're not that bad. Don't stress. Everything's going to work out fine. So don't stress the small stuff is what I would tell myself, definitely.
I'm from here. I was a Tiger. I'm still a Tiger, and it's just nice.